Thanks for joining in. I'm Chad Sallin, Executive Director of Abiding Life Ministries Canada, and welcome to our weekly Minute Messages, WM Squared. We're going to be putting these out every week. We're going to start this Monday, June 24th, and they're just going to be quick little messages to encourage you guys to help get your week going. That's why we want to send them out on Mondays. Give you a message of a hope that is certain, as God's message of hope is always a hope of certainty, and maybe a challenging thought, but just to help you get going for the week. I was thinking about trust, because trust has been something that God's been calling me into in a deeper manner over these last few years. COVID really kind of killed our ministries. We lost a lot of supporters simply because they lost their jobs. We've been in the process of rebuilding the ministry. We went back full time in October, and all of the extra money that we had to make up for the shortfall while we're trying to build up the ministry has run out. And yet God continues to provide for another month. We only had enough money for May, and then we had just enough for June, and now we have enough for July again. The house we're living in, we're just renting this house, but it's up for sale. It could get sold, and I don't have enough for a house right now, and so we have to trust God with where we're going to live. And so it's been a really, really cool thing that God's been moving me in a deeper way, really calling me to trust Him as we look to Him. I don't know if any of you have been watching the series The Chosen. It's about the life and of Jesus and His disciples and their journey together. And it's been really wonderful watching them. If you haven't, you got to check out The Chosen. But I was watching season 4, episode 4, I think it was. And Matthew and Gaius are in a scene together. Matthew is one of Jesus's disciples. He was a tax collector. And he worked with Gaius, who was a Roman centurion, and now in this episode he's praetor. And they're having this conversation. And Matthew now has since left working with Gaius, and he's gone off to follow Jesus because Jesus called him to follow him. And Matthew could tell that Gaius was really troubled and worried, a little bit fearful, concerned, and could just tell that he wasn't at peace. And so Matthew starts to share, I would wake up every morning with worry and fear and wondering, am I ever going to understand Jesus? Am I going to understand what to do? And then Matthew says this brilliant moment where Matthew says this line. He says, but then I had a thought. I only have one job to do today. Follow Him. And I really love that. We could be worried about so many things, about our relationships with others, about our finances, about our jobs, right? Our problems, our repetitive sin. There's all kinds of things we could be worried about. But we really have just one job to do, to follow Him, to abide in Him, to rest in Him, to remain in Him. And really that's our only job, because He's looking after it. And for Matthew, that would have been a very real thing, because Jesus was there in the flesh. He's right there with them. So I don't need to worry about this, and I don't need to be concerned about that. He's right here. All I have to do is follow Him. He'll lead us. He'll guide us. He'll let us know what we need to do. He'll provide for us when provision is always needed. And so it just stopped all of Matthew's worry and concern, and he could trust Him because Jesus is always proven faithful. And so it really brought a lot of peace to my heart as I'm watching that episode, and I'm just reflecting on this as God's calling me to a deeper level of trust, especially in my circumstances. Have to provide, bills have to be paid, right? That He'll provide. And yet again, we were short money for July, and here again, God provides another month, and just enough for us to give ourselves a paycheck so we can pay bills and eat. And He's so faithful. But I really love that. You have one job to do today, and it's just simply to abide in Him, to follow Him. And I love that, because I think we have made life so complicated. But it's really simple. But so simple, people simply won't believe it, right? We want to make things so complicated, but it's really simple. And your simple job this week is to simply follow Him. That's it. Don't need to worry about just He'll lead you. And the only difference between Matthew then and us now is we live by faith, right? Matthew got to live by sight because Jesus was there, but that was for him and that was for that time. But we're called to live by faith, not by sight. But it doesn't matter. The same Jesus that was there in the flesh walking with Matthew is the same Jesus that's walking with us today, right? But He's just living in me, which is actually even better. We need His life in us to overcome life. And so simplify your life, simplify your week, whatever's going on in your mind and your heart, whatever's occupying you, causing you to worry, to be fearful. You want peace? Simply get your focus on him. And you have one job to do this week, and it's follow him, abide in him, and he'll look after you. We'll see you next week.